Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from the Battle of Edoras, the Middle-earth strategy battle game, War of the Rohirrim box set that Games Workshop has very kindly sent me early to build up and paint with all of you. And today we are painting up Háma, Prince of Rohan, the other new character for the Rohirrim today. And I'm really excited. I really like this model. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. So we're just going to jump in and we are going to start painting him. He has been primed in Grey Seer. And the colour we're going to be using first is a roughly 2 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Cygor Brown mix. I'm going to be applying this all over the top of the horse's flesh. I'm just going to start just here. Just like this. So with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Gore-Grunta Fur. And we're going to apply this over the top. Just whilst we're waiting for all that to dry, in the interest of saving some time, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade and we're going to apply this over the top of the tail and the mane. And so with that then done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Wyldwood. I'm going to do a little bit of blending here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here at the bottom of the horse's legs. And we're going to bring this up like so. You want to get this all over the leg. There's a nice kind of fold in the muscles just there for us to aim for. And then what we want to do is we want to bring this up onto the horse's body here, like so. Then we want to wash the brush, get rid of the water, then we want to give it the blends. Like that. Similarly, on the back legs, and bring it up to there. Make sure we get it all over. Like that. Bring it up onto the body, or the rump, wash the brush, get rid of the water, and then just give it the blends. Like that. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion. I'm going to apply this over the top of all the horse's tack. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Dark Angel's Green, and we're going to apply this over top of the trim or border of the saddle blanket. And with that Dark Angel's Green all applied, we're then going to take some Blood Angel's Red, and we're going to apply this over the quilted part. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Snakebite Leather, and we're going to apply this over top of the remaining parts of the saddle and the hooves. So with that all done, we've mostly got the horse fully base coated. There's a couple of bits we haven't done, obviously, but we'll get to those in a little while. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to take some Black Legion, and we're going to apply this over, well, most of Háma. So we're going to be applying this over top of the boots, the gloves. We're going to be applying this over the top of all of the leather armour, and we're also going to apply this over the top of the belts and straps and things like that. And on his foot version, we're also going to apply that over the top of the arrow, the shaft of it, be precise. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Dark Angel's Green to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix, and we're going to apply this over the top of the trousers and the cloak. But not only are we going to do it once, we're going to do it twice. We're going to do 2 layers of this. And so with those 2 layers of Dark Angel's Green and Lahmian Medium applied, we're then going to take some Blood Angel's Red. We're going to apply this to the inside of the cloak. So with that then done, we're going to take some Fyreslayer Flesh. We're going to apply this over the top of the face. And with that Fyreslayer Flesh all applied, we're then going to take some Wyldwood, and we're going to apply this over the top of the bow, most of the quiver, and the sword scabbard. So when I say most of the quiver, we don't want to get this kind of flap at the top. And then next up, we're going to take some Skeleton Horde, and we're going to apply this over the top of little bits of hair. And with that all done, we then want to once again take some Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to apply this over the top of that remaining part of the quiver. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors, and we're going to apply this over the top of, well, quite a few little different details. So we're going to be applying this, of course, over the top of the sword blade and the arrowhead on our foot version. We're going to be applying this over the top of the horse's shoes. However, many of you will have noticed that a lot of his trim on his kind of leather armor is also silver. We're not going to be doing that now because it's just going to be easier for us to highlight it rather than apply Iron Warriors, then shade it, then highlight it. We're going to do a shade over the top of the black armor that we can then highlight with the silver, which will just make it look better. But we're also going to apply this over the top of the chainmail, which again is going to be a different color, but the Iron Warriors is going to act as the base. So don't worry, there is method in the madness. So for now, we're just going to be applying this over the top of all of these areas. We're also going to be applying it over the top of the helmet as well. We've got the kind of ends of the bow as well, stuff like that. However, we're not going to be applying this over the top of any of the horse's tack. That's all going to be gold. Once all that Iron Warriors is fully dry, we're going to take some Gore-Grunta Fur, and we're going to apply this over the top of the chainmail. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour, and we're going to apply this over top of all of the kind of decorative and trim like details that we haven't already painted, just like this. We're not going to be applying this over the outside of the saddle blanket or the kind of the mail skirt, but otherwise we're going to get this all over. So with that all done, it's now time to add some shades, and the first of these is going to be some Nuln Oil, and we're going to be applying this over the top of the black leather armor, the silver, and all of our white details. However, we're not going to be applying this over the top of the horse's kind of like black tack and stuff like that. Nor are we going to be applying this over the top of the things like the chest straps and stuff like that on Háma. And with all of that Nuln Oil applied, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade, and we're going to use this to shade the gold details. Now you don't need to worry about the trim on the green saddle blanket. There's nothing really there to shade, as it were. You'll just be creating more work for yourself by doing so. So with that all done, Prince Háma is now at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and it's looking pretty good. However, we are not going to leave it there, of course not. We're going to take it to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some highlights. Now, the first of these is going to be some thinned down Bloodreaver Flesh, and we're going to be using this to highlight the legs of the horse. And just the legs. And with that Bloodreaver Flesh applied to the legs, we then want to take some thinned down Skrag Brown. I'm going to use this to highlight basically just the horse's face. There isn't really any other edges for us to do. Other than around the face. With that Skrag Brown applied, we're then going to take some Black Legion and we're going to apply this over the top of the horse's eyes. But whilst we've got it, we're also going to apply this over the top of Háma's eyes as well. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Karak Stone, and we're going to use this to highlight all of the black leather that we didn't shade. So this is going to be all of the straps and horse tack and things like that. And we can also use this to highlight the horse's mane and tail. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Pallid Witch Flesh, and we're going to use this to highlight all of the white bits. So with that all done, our next job is to take a tiny amount of Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to add a little dot in the back corner of each of the horse's eyes, like that. We're also going to use this to highlight the hair. And pick out Háma's teeth. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight Prince Háma's face. And so with that all done, we now want to take some thinned down Warboss Green. And we're going to use this to highlight the trousers and the cloak. So with that all done, we are now going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker. And we're going to use this to highlight all of the silver, of course, but we're using this to pick out the trim on the chest plate as well. Now this isn't going to include the kind of skirts at the bottom and off to the side, so we want to start here. Like that. And here. Like that. And then down here as well. It's a lot easier on the feet and on the arms because we're just highlighting all of that, basically. All of the armor bits. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight those black details that we didn't do on the armor. And so with that all done, we're now going to finish them off by taking some thinned down Liberator Gold. I'm going to use this to highlight all the gold. However, one little thing we can do is once we've used up kind of quite a lot of the gold on our going to the palette. So for example, once we've finished off this bit of the sword, what we can do is just turn it on our finger and just kind of gently, almost dry brush it in some ways. Over the mail, just to give it a little bit of shine. You really don't want very much paint on your brush when you do that. And so with the base now complete, Prince Háma is now finished. We've done the base in the same way we've done the rest of the War of the Rohirrim box. We've done Sterling Mud with a dry brush of Tyrant Skull and some tiny tufts from Gamer's Grass. And I really like both the characters, Háma and Haleth. They've been fantastic to paint, as have both the evil ones, to be fair. This is just a really fun experience, and I wholeheartedly recommend this box because it's just great. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.